let me give you some information that I think we often find out too late. I mean, I certainly didn't learn this in any of the courses. This is information that I picked up by just hard graft, and it's better to be pre-warned with this before you start, because that way you can have a much more effective strategy. To start with, you can only make 3,000 connection requests yourself. Now, I'm not saying that to sort of put fear into you, because 3,000 is still a big number, but it means you need to at least understand what you're trying to do when you're connecting with people. In total, you can have 30,000 first level connections, which is a massive number. And you're probably asking the question, well, if you can only connect with 3,000 people, how can you ultimately get 30,000 in your first level connections? And that's because you find ways to entice people to connect with you. It isn't just about you going out and connecting with other people. You need to entice people to connect with you, to join your network. So that's how you can have 30,000 first level connections. LinkedIn works on the principle of the 6 degrees of separation, a term I'm probably sure you've already heard about. What that means is your ideal prospect, the person you most want to meet, is only 6 connections away. So, for example, let's say I wanted to connect with the managing director of BMW in America, then I should be able to achieve that by making no more than 6 connections, provided I'm making the right connections. One of those will lead to another one, and then within that route of 6 connections, I would have made the ultimate connection that I need to make. Let's look at that diagrammatically. So there's me on the left-hand side, and LinkedIn has 3 primary levels of connection, which they call first level connection, second level, and third level. So I can have up to 30,000 first level connections, and each of those connections have their own first level connections, so they can each have 30,000 first level connections, and their first level connections are my second level connections, and then each of those second level connections can equally have 30,000 first level connections, which become my third level connections. So you can start to see the potential in how you can have a vast number of people within your overall network. The key, however, is you must build a wide network. Your ultimate success will depend how wide you build your first level connections. And often I hear people say, well, I'm only going to connect with people I really, 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 really know. But you've got to break out from that. You have to connect with a wider audience. And I don't mean that in a spammy sense. On the contrary, I mean that in a very strategic sense. You need to be strategic in who you connect with, but you need to grow your first level connections beyond people that you specifically know. This isn't about Facebook where really you're connecting with friends. This is a professional network where you're trying to build a network which will ultimately bring you more business. So it's important that you grow your first level connections, because by having a wider first level connection base, you're growing the opportunity to have a bigger second and third level connection.